For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, we are live and amplified. So let's get ready to podcast.
Fire it up.
Yeah, so I woke up Saturday morning. My knee was swollen the size of a grapefruit. Like, it was bad. And I didn't think I was going to be able to move around it all Saturday.
Yeah.
And, you know, so I just kind of toughed it out and made it and got back, and I took like a lethal dose of ibuprofen. Like 2,600 milligrams.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that many pills. I'm like, are you trying to die?
No, I'm trying to make it my last piece.
Right.
Yeah. No, I say lethal dose because when I tell people that kind of milligrammage, they look at me like I'm fucking psychotic.
It's up there.
Yeah.
It's up there. Definitely.
But I mean, then again, if you go to like extra strength Tylenol, you take 2 of them, that's
right.
2,000 milligrams right there.
Oh, I know.
I think, right? Or is it 800 milligrams?
I've been living off the ibuprofen the last few days because my foot been killing me.
Yeah.
Welcome to Old and Amplified, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, right. But welcome into another Sunday sit down, except it's Monday, so I don't quite get this logic anymore. But, you know, we've made it a tradition now where anytime we get together, we sit down, we talk shop, you know, just kind of shit that's been going on, you know.
Yeah. Talk about what's hurting.
Yeah, what's hurting. You know, a lot of things, it's been since June, or did I come out here in May? Was it May or June?
May or June, I don't remember,
honestly.
Honestly, say that. This year's been a blur.
Yeah, so I came out here early in the summer, and we sat down and did this, and so then I just like, hey, let's keep doing this talk shop. You know, a lot's changed. Regardless how long it's been, a lot's changed.
Right.
For better, for worse, depending on how you want to.
I mean, if you really want to sit down and talk about the grand scheme, the whole world has changed since the last time you've been here.
Yeah.
Like 3 times over.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Like,
it's crazy how much like we get bombarded with in a day. Not just like politics, but like everything in the universe bombards us in a day, and every day feels like a week. So a couple of months feels like eternity. Yeah.
The Trace Atkins thing happened since the last time I've been here. With Try That in a Small Town. I fucking forgot about that.
Yep.
And then somebody went to jail, or
the memes are still going for that.
Yeah, the memes are still going.
Try That in a Small.
Yeah.
Mind.
Yeah. But man, I'm glad to be here. It's been a long week. I just got back from In a Jam down by the river in New Braunfels, Texas.
Yeah, it looked like fun, man. I was following it on social media.
Yeah, which it's. I'm not a religious person, but this was the closest thing to a religious experience I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
And I'm being 100% honest with you.
No, well, that's like how festivals used to be.
Yeah.
Now these giant things with so many people and so many bands, and you're like running from stage to stage so quickly that like it's not the same thing anymore.
Yeah, for sure.
They're overdoing it.
The way I explained it to somebody else the other day was, maybe I was explaining it to them how I wanted to explain it to you, because I was trying to get you to go this year, but obviously
didn't work out.
Committing to a full week off isn't an easy task, but then you ended up injuring your foot, and it's like, okay. You know?
It would have been rough on me.
Yeah. But, you know, it's what Unify Fest wanted to be.
Right.
And what Baygrass tried to be.
Yeah. Unify Fest was more like Alienate Fest.
Yeah.
If you weren't like part of this specific like subgenre of people.
Yeah.
And I don't mean that in like a negative way, but they were very like niche.
Yeah.
Like everyone there was part of like this very niche like ideology and stuff. And if you weren't part of it, they definitely made sure to make you feel like an outsider.
Yeah.
And it didn't make me feel unified at all. By the end, I felt alienated and didn't want to come back.
Yeah. And I mean, I was telling, so I did a podcast with my buddy Aaron Bentley yesterday. That's why I ended up leaving so late, because it was 2:00. I was getting ready to jump in the car, and he walks. What?
My mic's a little hot.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
My ears, at least. So just,
Okay.
There you go. Perfect.
I could do this.
That warmed it up. Cool.
I could do that too.
Cool.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you just got to tell me. It's
Sorry.
No, you're fine. So I was literally sitting in my car, ready to go, and he walks by and he's like, "Hey, Tom, come see me in 20 minutes." And I'm like, I got to hit the road, dude.
That's usually a drug deal.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
I was like, I got to hit the road, dude. I got to be in Roswell, and it's an 8-hour drive. He's like, 20 minutes. I'm like, all right, well, I got to pee anyways. So moseyed on over to the bathroom and went to the bathroom. And then I was like, well, because he was staying in one of the sponsored RV deals. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to walk over there. I'll just drive over there. It wasn't that far, but, you know, it was just like, I'm going to drive. So I parked, got out, and I sat there for a minute. I was like, hey, is Aaron inside or what? You know, and he came in. And so anyways, he had asked me about like how I got into like my festival experience. And I told him about Unify Fest, and it was just like, initially it was a cool concept.
Right.
You know, and like the odd part about it was they were very it seemed like they were very controlling of who we could interview.
Right.
But then again, maybe it was just a matter of we didn't know that we could go pull people in. I don't.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was early on in our trying to do festivals and do our thing.
Yeah.
You know.
But the thing that tripped me up was people were there for the music, but they were also there for sex and drugs. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
My favorite part of Unify Fest was like the outdoor showers and just watching, like, just like walking down the hill and people are sunning themselves in the nude.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's like, I get why you're there, but this isn't a music festival then. This is a commune.
Right.
Like, this is a hippie commune.
Well, and the thing for me was, you know, I woke up on the first day and tried to go get me a cup of coffee. And the looks I got just because I wanted a regular cup of coffee with cream and sugar, that's how I take it. It was like very vegan. So just the idea that I wanted cream was weird.
Yeah.
But like nobody had real coffee. They all had like, oh, these are some dirt and shit, like grounds that we ran water through. I don't know, dude.
I think it was acorns.
Yeah, like,
something like that.
Dude, there was no real coffee there. They were like, oh, this is something coffee. And I'm like, that's not coffee.
Yeah.
That's something else.
This is...
like, I want coffee beans.
Yeah. It was really weird, and like we tried to play by their rules. Like we really tried.
Well, like I said, in the end, I just felt alienated because I wasn't like a hippie vegan.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I got no problem with that lifestyle, but I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do my own thing, and you do your thing.
I felt like had we left that like the main day that we were there, I think, what was it? We got there on...
We get there on a Friday. Saturday was when it really...
like the Saturday main day. Had we said, okay, we're going to go take an hour, and we went to Wendy's and came back with like a burger or something, they would have lost their freaking mind.
Oh, yeah, no, we'd have had to eat it at Wendy's in the parking lot. We knew that.
But, you know, and so I was telling them all this, and I was just like, in a jam is that it's a majestic moment where you go through every emotion. If you're there from the pre-party to the last day, you'll go through every freaking emotion that you possibly can.
Yeah.
Because you're going to feel amazing, you're going to be depressed, you're going to be sad, you're going to be tired, you're going to be hurt, you know, just anything, any kind of feeling you can feel.
Honestly, it sounds like the perfect weekend to take mushrooms and do a spiritual guide.
Yeah.
Because a spiritual guide's all about like, because when you take you know, for those of you that have never taken a psychedelic, when you take mushrooms especially, you experience those kind of emotions like a little bit more intensely.
Yeah.
So, and what you want to do is you want to go to the boundaries of every emotion. That's a spirit guide thing. And stuff. And it kind of helps open up your mind. And in the long run, it cures a lot of like issues and depression and bad thoughts in your head. Yeah. But that sounds like the perfect weekend for one of them.
Yeah, it definitely was. There's definitely some stuff going around. I was offered mushrooms on Saturday.
Yeah. And those are safe, honestly. It's like the weed of the hallucinogens. Like, you're not going to die.
Yeah. Well, and it wasn't that I wasn't willing to try it, but I was offered like midday. I was like getting ready to do podcasting and all. Like, I was still in the full midst of podcasting.
Not a good idea if you're going to work.
Yeah.
Plus, you were kind of by yourself. Like, I'm sure you knew people there, but there was nobody like.
I mean, they would have looked out like. Right. And that's the thing is I told this to my dad yesterday when I was driving in because he was working, and so he had a 2-hour trip home.
Right.
And so he called me on his way home, and he was like, "How was the weekend?" But I don't think he could really hear me because he kept saying it was a waste of time. And I was like, "No, that's not what I said." That's like, so I don't think he could 100% hear me because my dad just bought a freaking Tesla, and so I don't know. Nothing against Teslas, but I just don't think he knows 100%. I don't think he has it set up 100% just yet. So
yeah.
And I was telling him, I was like, man, this was such a life-altering weekend. And I kind of went through it. Like, everybody there, besides a few people that were just kind of there for their gig and then they left, everybody that was there from Wednesday to at least Saturday, they all gave a shit.
Yeah.
If they saw me struggling or if they saw, nobody was going to leave me hanging.
Right.
And had it been like a situation where I had had I decided on Saturday, let me try this. Let me see what it does. And I was having a bad trip, they would have gotten me to my cabin. They would have been like, okay, you just get through this and then come back later. Nobody was going to let me die. Like, there was one dude, he played, what did he play? Friday. He came down Wednesday and he played Friday morning. He came down Wednesday. Thursday, he had to go back home to finalize his divorce.
Oof.
And he came back Friday, played. We did a podcast, but he had been drinking excessively. Like he went through 2 24-packs of beers.
Damn.
And like anytime I saw him, he was carrying at least 2 Lone Stars. Like, jeez. And so, but he's that type of guy that he can just kind of handle it. And as long as he knows when to call it, he's good.
Right.
And he took a huge hit of mushrooms. And at the end of the night, there was like 2 people that they weren't 100% sure where he stayed, but he was down on the main floor where the concert is, and they brought him up the stairs at they have a bar and grill set up. So they brought him up the stairs. They sat him down at one of the picnic benches, sat with him for a few minutes, made sure he was good. Dude passed out.
Oh.
Hour and a half later, they were like, okay, we'll kind of try and check on him a little bit.
Yeah.
But he should be fine right here.
Honestly, it's always a bad mix if you're drunk and then take mushrooms.
Yeah.
Because alcohol causes a lot of negative thoughts.
Yeah.
And stuff, and then the mushrooms kick in, and it kind of enhances the negativity.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. Well, and it's one of those deals where I think, because when I was on the podcast, he had nothing but positive things and how it was just like a relief off his chest.
Yeah.
And all this stuff. And I was like, oh, that's good that you guys are still communal and friends and all that stuff.
It's still a bad thing though.
Yeah. And I could kind of see it on him that I think it was affecting him more than he was willing to admit. Oh, yeah,
definitely. And you could tell yourself one thing, but it's always not the case.
Yeah.
We all know.
So it was just an interesting experience. And it showed me that Central Texas, maybe a little bit closer to, maybe not Waco specifically, but a little bit closer to Austin. But Central Texas is where I need to be, where Live and Amplified needs to be. It is
it's not far from me.
Yeah. People give a shit there.
Yeah.
Whereas if you were to go out to Nashville, I have people that would help if I needed help.
Right.
But they're doing their own thing.
And, I can't come out that way. I'm going to be in Roswell for a while.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, my wife and I are in the middle of buying a house and stuff here. Yeah. So my kids are in school here.
Yeah. And that's what I kept telling people is it's I'd love to get you down there because I think just the entire experience you'd really enjoy. I'd have to make sure we were back in a cabin or something because I don't think you could handle sleeping.
Yeah.
On the ground. So, but it's one of those things where you just kind of do the whole gamut. You're there for the experience. You're gonna sweat. You're gonna stink. You're gonna you're going to get drunk. You're going to get high. I
probably won't get drunk, but
each
his their own,
There will become a point where it's okay, it's the right time to, I think there would be at least one night where you have at least a couple, maybe not drunk, but I think there's just one night where you'll have a couple, you know.
I get.
Okay. All right.
I get drunk off just a couple.
Yeah, fair enough. But so, needless to say, like, this weekend was life altering, and
that's cool.
I'm spinning my wheels back in Waco, and I've said that several different times.
Yeah.
And I just need to figure out. We just need to figure out a way to make this self-sustaining. Even if we take like, or I guess I say we because I don't want you to feel disincluded.
Right.
But even if it means taking a massive pay cut and I got to live like a fucking broke college kid for a few years. You know, that's all right with me at this point because I fucking love this so much. Like,
right.
Like Friday was like, if you look at it as like a spectrum. Wednesday I came in super excited. I was ready to go. Thursday was an all right day.
Yeah.
And then Friday, it just like, boom. And it was like, that was the make it or break it time. Like, my knees were killing me. My ankles were killing me.
Yeah. Well, we're getting older, man.
I was drunk, you know, and I was just like a mess.
Yeah.
And then Saturday came around. Nia Nichols, her and her family were doing like a little family vacation around Texas. Because she's getting ready to move to Nashville. Like, she's going to go stay in Nashville for a couple. She's trying to get the visa thing squared away, but they're kind of jacking around a little bit.
They always do.
So she's going to come stay for a couple of months and then go back for the holidays, come back for a couple of months, and then she's got like her visa interview or something in like later, in like early part or the late part of Q1. And so she's going to go do that, hang around in the UK for a couple months, and then she'll be back in the summer. And so they just, since she's going to be gone a lot, they wanted to do like a family trip. Yeah. And I was like, well, come to Texas. I mean, I could probably get you in, you know, and I was telling her about the fest and all that, and it was cool.
Yeah.
She got to play an open mic, and she came in Saturday, and her parents met me at probably the absolute worst time. Because
really? Yeah.
My knees were on fire. I was hungover as shit. And like, and I'm sitting there, I'm like trying to drink another beers just to get the hair of the dog out of my mouth.
Right. Just stop the head from pounding.
Yeah. And I look like I'm a freak piece of shit. You know, just like all these things.
Well, it's like third day festival, man.
Yeah. And I told her that. I was like, your parents are coming in like third, fourth day of a music festival. You're gonna get a very rare version of Tom Quiet. Like you're gonna see me at my absolute lowest or my absolute highest.
Yeah, no in between.
Yeah, you're not going to get an in between.
Right.
And unfortunately, she caught me at my absolute lowest.
Right.
And so she came in Saturday, and I was just sitting there. I was beating myself up all day Saturday because it was like she was there and her family was there, and I didn't want to leave them by themselves. But it was also kind of the point. I wanted her to like get out there, meet musicians, and just kind of enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
And so I had that in the back of my head, and then I had that shitty podcast I was telling you about earlier on Friday with Lily, where I just kind of leaned in a little bit too hard.
Yeah.
And
was it Lily Fangs?
No. Her name's Lily Milford.
Oh, okay.
And I like I was telling you, we have an interesting relationship because I've known of her for a very long time, and we've been friends on Facebook for a bit. And I actually met her for the first time last year at the festival, and she came in, and it was like had been best friends for years.
That's cool.
Which is fun. You know, it breaks the ice, and she comes in, gives me a big old hug, and it's like, I fucking love this guy. This guy.
It's funny how social media nowadays, they don't feel like strangers how they used to.
Yeah. Which was cool, and I enjoyed it. We sat down, we had a good, I think, like 15, 20-minute thing. And then this year came, and she I think she was kind of in her feels a little bit because she had shown up late for her set, and then her set was really, like, she had a really rough set.
Yeah, well, you show up late, that's what happens.
Well, no, not that she was late, she didn't show up as early as she wanted to.
Well, yeah.
So like let's say her set was at 5, she showed up at 4:55. You know,
that's late.
Yeah, but so she didn't have the best set, and and I think she was in her feels a little bit, and then she started drinking. You know, so it was just
you got her after a bad set.
Yeah, it was just a really rough night, and so like Saturday, I'm getting to a point, I promise. Oh,
it's cool.
So Saturday I was just like at my absolute lowest, and then at the end of the day, Grady Spence and the work, the name of the band that was headlining Saturday night. They go up, they do a killer set, and I think it was one of the videos I sent you. I don't remember exactly one of the videos I sent you.
Yeah, you sent me a video of somebody playing at night.
Yeah. I don't remember if it was the band before them or Grady Spence and the work, but and they wrap up their set, and then you start hearing the encore chants coming on, like, and it's like a slow build encore.
Yeah. Did it seem like Plants?
No. It was just very
curious, you know.
Just very very organic. It was just like very subtle, and then the MC was like a little bit louder, you know, and just so very organic. And then all of a sudden it's like it builds, and I'm like, man, I'm fucking hard as shit, you know, like this is gonna be sick. And then they come out and play Joe Cocker's song from the Wonder Years.
Oh, that's cool.
And I lose my fucking mind
because a Beatles song.
I thought it was Joe Cocker.
No, Beatles wrote that.
But he sang it.
Yeah.
Okay.
He covered it. His version is like well known.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, so they play that, and I like everything just came in, like it fucked my head up so bad, but in the best way, because I like Joe Cocker's verse. I didn't know that the Beatles wrote the song initially.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's a Beatles song.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm a music guy.
Yeah, no. And I didn't know that, but like the one that I know is the Joe Cocker version. And,
right. No, it's a fantastic version.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking it.
And so they played it, and I was just like, I wasn't paying attention to anything else.
Yeah.
I was just watching the lead singer, because for the most of the festival, I stood back. Like, I wasn't down in the pit hardly at all. So I stood, like, they have like an overlook, and I stayed up there for the most part because my podcast gear was set up over here. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm just cued in on what the singer is saying, and I'm listening to everything in that song. It messed my head up. I went to bed, woke up Sunday morning. I was like, holy fuck,
nice.
Yeah, like, and I just woke up Sunday, my knees felt not amazing, but better.
Yeah.
I went and took a shower, and I was like, holy crap, you know. And it was like, these are the good years that I don't want to ever forget.
Right.
Like, this is like, if I could get a shot of how I feel at that moment, every day, I'd take it. Like, you know, and it was that clarity moment of reflecting all those feelings that I went through led to this.
Yep.
And then all the conversations I had, and they weren't all like the same conversations. It was all like, like
they varied.
One guy, we talked about, you know, the business and like passion for the business and how you need passion. Another guy, we talked about losing parent, you know, just all this shit. And I'm like, this is 100% what I want to do. Like, this is what I need to do, and I'm in the right place to do it.
Yeah.
I just need to geographically, I'm in the right area. I just need to get somewhere where I'm a little bit more in the mix, you know?
Yeah.
Not saying that Waco isn't in the mix, because we had a lot of people from Dallas, a lot of people from Houston, but they all come to freaking Austin and the surrounding areas. So it's like, Waco's not surrounding area.
Yeah.
Like,
I want to play out there, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to come do a show out there. That's the thing with our stuff is, you know, we all have, you know, families and jobs, so promoting's really hard.
Yeah.
But in the long run, we play shows and everyone's like, oh my God, we connect with you.
Yeah.
You know, so we just want to get out and play more shows places.
Yeah, for sure.
Even if we don't have a following there, fuck it.
I think if we can get you out next year and you can just kind of, even if it's a situation where, like, it would have to be just you, because we'd have to pay for the rest of the family to come in, and it's not cheap to, I'm
talking about the band.
Well, no, I'm talking. So I think the key to get the band in, like, if you wanted to play this festival specifically,
well, I think we're a little too hard for that, but
Maybe not.
But something out there, like a decent show.
I think you could play if you played out a more chilled set,
which we have.
Yeah, I think you'd fit in all right.
Basically, we could just leave like 3 songs off the list and we'd be okay.
I think if you played a more chilled set, you'd be all right.
We have like 33 songs.
Yeah, but what I'm getting at is if you yourself came out next year, just you and me doing how we usually do at festivals.
Yeah.
I'll be the meat, you be the sizzle, like that sort of thing. You get out, be your social butterfly, and just introduce.
Talkative asshole.
Yeah, and you just talk to people and have those conversations, and you'll come out of it with they're a little bit more singer-songwritery, and that's not really your.
No, it's still cool. I can connect with musicians,
but they're gonna want to have a songwriting session, like all this shit. But just on a musician to musician basis, you'd be in your element there.
Right.
So,
and that's really what it's about. Like I connect to, it has nothing to do with genre. It's just more like you do this and I do this.
Yeah. And so the other point I was trying to make with that big long 20-minute story I was going on.
It's all good.
And this will be kind of the transition into a couple of other things.
Don't transition on me, Tom.
No.
Just kidding.
This whole week made me realize nothing fucking else matters. Like the bills, the beef, the pettiness, and like all the bullshit that we've been going through the last few months.
Right.
None of that shit fucking matters.
Right.
Let them all be fucking peons. Let them all be assholes. And unless they start saying some really fucked up shit, just let them do what they're going to do, because we're all bigger than this. We're all going different places. They want to, and you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
They want to stay local. They want to be who they're going to be, and that's perfectly content for them. I don't want to be local. I want to be known beyond the walls of Texas. I want to be known beyond the walls of Southeast New Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys have already... This is where the transition comes in.
It's like, forget about it. I'm known all over the fucking world.
Yeah. And you guys have already proven that you can tour in the Southwest. You can you can put a tour together.
Oh, definitely.
And if you guys were in a little bit of a different situation where you didn't have wife, kids, and all that shit.
Well, yeah. No, honestly, if we could do it full time, I think it wouldn't take us long to become like more successful.
Yeah.
But it's always been a hobby.
Yeah. And I think, and I'm trying to be very careful with what I say and how I say it, so it does.
Yeah.
Like, I don't tip the hand of what we're talking about. But if they happen to listen, they're gonna know exactly what I'm fucking talking about.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Well, yeah.
Like literally, fuck them.
Right.
That's what I've got to say.
Yeah.
And other than that, they don't need to be mentioned. They don't need like it. I know y'all.
Not giving no press.
I know y'all have been concerned with some stuff going on, which is fine and that's fair.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, fuck them. Like,
yeah, because it didn't stunt my growth in my art.
Yeah.
Since all that, like, we've written almost a whole new album.
Yeah.
Like, we've written some songs that are honestly like really like revolutionary as far as what you hear today. Like, these songs are different, man, and like they hit really well, man. Wait till you hear.
Yeah. It'll be it's just one of those things where it's like,
yeah. And we didn't write a single song about any of that situation either, because like we don't need to talk and sing and put out negativity in our songs.
Yeah.
There's already more than enough of that, like nothing but like, oh, fuck you and I hate you and
here's the thing.
All that shit, like, fuck off with that.
Yeah. Here's the thing is it's because y'all are real musicians.
Right, exactly.
And I mean that in the best possible way. Y'all are real musicians.
No, we do it for love, dude.
And that's that. Okay, so this festival that I was at, Inner Jam, this is that type of festival where everybody believes so hardcore in what's being done there that I guarantee you when they send out the email telling everybody how, because basically how the payouts work is you got the headliners and they got their whatever their guarantee is.
Yeah.
But everybody else, they just take the profits and then they split it. Like,
right.
So it'll be like, let's say there was 70 bands that weren't on a guarantee, and they made $7,000.
Right.
So everybody would walk away with what is that, $100?
Ain't bad. Isn't it not even about the pay?
So this festival, half the bands will give their whatever their cut is, and they'll put it in next year.
We've learned like as long as there is pay, like, and as long as it's reasonable, the pay for the show is really just like the bottom layer.
Yeah.
Like, so if you're good at marketing, you're good at merch and stuff like that, and you have a good game as far as that, dude, we like triple to quadruple merch sales compared to like almost every show compared to what we're getting paid for playing the show.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where they kick their pay back, and it's just like, I've never seen that happen anywhere. Like, and I mean, I'm sure you got some musicians that would love to, but they can't because that $100 is going to do. Do something.
And
but
what I'm seeing a lot of now, and I'm not going to name any names, but there's a lot of bands like in my Facebook feed, Instagram feed, all over the country. This ain't about anyone specifically local or anyone specifically anywhere, because I know like once I start saying like things negative about music or something, like, everyone thinks it's directly about them. And it's like, dude, y'all don't realize, all right, you're not the only band I deal with, and honestly, I don't think of any one band specifically unless like I really like them, more than just as a flyby. But like, I notice trends and I notice like generalities, and I notice when like the entire industry as a whole is taking a bad turn. Right. So when I say like, like I put up a post not long ago about bad mixes, and like, whoa, so many people thought it was like directly personally about them. I'm like, no, man. These are just issues that like I listen to a lot of new music. People send me stuff because the radio show and everything else, and I hear a lot of new music even before it's released in a lot of cases, and the mixes suck. Sorry. But one of the things I went on that.
No, you're fine. I went on a 20-minute thing.
Yeah, so it was like a preamble, just so nobody takes this personal. But the biggest thing I'm noticing now is a lot of bands, they're forcing it. I need to write this, and most bands are putting themselves in a box because they're like, you got like one member of the band that's like, oh, I'm writing and creating all of it, and you all have to do it this way and that way and do exactly the way I want it. And they're just like really forced into a box. Every song starts sounding the same because you only have one creator. You know what I mean? Only one creative, and everyone else is like basically filler or fill-in and just playing what they want them to play. And it sucks. It does. And you get a lot of these people like, oh, I have to do this way and that way because this band does this way and that way. No, man, just do it your way. Do what sounds good for you. Like, quit trying to sound like other people. Quit trying to like force everything. Let it be more natural. Like when we write music, dude, there's no one person in my band that's like the main creator. I mean, if I was going to say there was, it'd be Carlos. He comes up with way more ideas and riffs and stuff than anyone else in the band comes up with. But I digress. He doesn't come to a practice like, hey, I wrote this entire song and I want you guys to play it exactly this way. Here's, the beginning, middle, and end, blah, blah, blah. He'd just be like, oh, I got this riff. And he'll play it and then we'll jam on it. And like, everyone in my band is the primary creator. One person might spark the idea, but in the long run, we've all written our parts on our own, like added our own like feel to it. And I just feel like a lot of bands aren't doing that anymore. Like they're not, allowing creative input.
Well, because
and stuff they're micro or macro managing.
Well, it's one of those things where they're doing this. They want to appeal to a bigger audience, so
they want to sound exactly like someone else.
No,
dude, a lot of bands are doing that.
They in general, they want to sound like everybody else, but they're trying to
one specific someone else, like that's happening.
But they're also doing this thing where they're trying. Like one person wants to be a full-time musician, so they just bring on hired guns for every tour, or they're trying to figure out a way to minimize their costs. And so they just, instead of it being GDP, it's Jeff Cabana and the boys, like whatever it is. And then the boys just kind of change from city to city.
And that's actually been picking up more and more.
Yeah, and I mean, not saying it's a bad business idea, but just creatively, it can't be very fulfilling.
No, well, it's not creative at all.
Yeah.
You know, and then when you're hiring people on, it's like, you know, basically studio people, but live, like hired guns. You know? They don't get any input or anything. They're just barely learning the music and performing it. And that's all they can do. You know, it's, I don't know. Like I said, it's, if that's what you want, then that's fine. But I can hear it in the music.
Yeah.
I can hear in the music. It's like, oh, they specifically absolutely had to sound like this one band.
Yeah.
And like they force everything into that same exact box, like as far as the structure of the song, the way the lyrics are built or written, or like the drops, and that's a big thing now, like in like metal. Yeah, it just goes from one drop to another. Drop used to be something special.
Yeah,
every like few songs you could be, oh, that was a sick drop on that one. Now it's like they all want to put like fucking 35 drops in every song. Like there's no discernible like beginning, middle, and end now, because it's just one drop to the next.
Yeah, sorry, you're getting a little passionate there on me.
Oh, sorry. It gets ridiculous, man. It's just like, all right, dude, I get it. Your favorite band had this drop in this one song that you loved, but you don't need to recreate it like 5 times per song for like 10 songs or whatever. That, you know, and that's the other thing. Nobody's even writing full albums anymore. Well, everyone's like, oh, I'm going to, you know, record like 5 or 6 songs, and then we're going to release every song as a single, instead of just releasing like a work of art as a whole. And it's I don't know, man. Maybe I'm old school, but I don't like it.
Well, and I think Spotify, because I have this conversation with musicians all the freaking time. You know, it's like that the industry right now is a very singles driven market, and
I know
it's the same. It was that way before, like when they were doing vinyls, it was very singles driven. Like,
well, early on, yes.
Yeah, early on, vinyls were a very single thing.
Right, 45s were a big market.
Yeah, and so like it's like the entire industry is just one giant circle. Like you're gonna get back around to it, and Spotify's starting to realize, like, yes, we're very singles driven. Yes, we understand that.
Right,
but let's reward that. Let's figure out a way that people can have both. Like release your singles, and like, because now they've got this thing called the waterfall release.
Right.
So basically, if you record a 12-song album, right, you can set it up so they all release it singles, but they come in like once they're all released, they're all under one project, like one.
Right.
So
and that makes sense. And, you know, but sometimes you go to an artist page and every single is like its own like listing.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, are you trying to build your discography this way, or what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
and that's kind of what I was telling you. Was that 2 weeks when you were telling me that you guys were looking at going back into the studio to cut 3 or 4 songs?
Yeah. Well, ultimately a full album, but I don't think we can afford the full album at the moment. And we're getting there.
That's kind of what I was getting at, was take those 3 songs, bundle it with a piece of merch, whether it's a t-shirt. Like,
no, we've had a really good conversation about this, actually. You pointed us in a good direction.
Yeah. And, I mean, you could still release music on Spotify, but go to, like, do a run of shows for over a course of a month or whatever, and just be like, hey, this is it. If you buy this shirt, you get our brand new, brand recorded thing. Here's you'll get a download coupon, whatever, you know, like however you guys figure it out. Yeah, I mean.
And without playing my hand too hard, if anyone's listening, and we're looking for someone that's kind of like semi-famous, we're willing to pay, but we're looking for a feature from a good lyricist.
Okay.
Hip hop lyricist.
Hip hop lyricist.
Yep. And we're looking for a feature coming up.
Male, female.
Honestly, don't matter as long as they're good. I have a couple people in mind I'm trying to reach out to right now, but the network to get to them has been evading me.
Okay. I'm
talking like C-level or better.
C-level or better.
You know what I mean? Like, they got a couple albums out, they got a little bit of following, but they're not going to charge me $10,000.
Okay, so you don't want somebody that was like a one-hit wonder that still thinks that they
well,
got
and
it.
The thing is like, we can't afford like Method Man, Redman. Believe me, if we could, we would.
Yeah.
Like someone like that, but we don't want like Joe Schmo, like local rapper that's like 35 and like never really you know what I mean. Sorry guys, you do your thing, but
what about the Oh fuck, I can't think of his name now. The dude from Kansas City. Unique Music.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Oh fuck.
Possibly.
What's his name? What is his name? He was on BET Cypher in 2010. I used to listen to him all the time. He's like a really unique dude, a real lyricist. This is gonna fucking kill me. I can't think of his name now.
Honestly, you know who I was thinking about reaching out to if anything is Atheist out of Salt Lake.
Okay.
Because I really like his stuff. I've been following him, and he's been winning some battles up there against some like pretty major names.
Yeah, I was. I've been paying attention to what he's going on. I
like him. Like his stuff. Like you listen to his last EP he put out.
Yeah,
dude, it was good.
He's got some unique references in his. All right, I'm
little known fact about me, people.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Oh, okay.
Like that would be
right.
Like he's not A level,
but that's the level I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So honestly, because the song itself, at least my part and like what instantly came to mind when we wrote this song was Aesop Rock, and he's about that same level.
Yeah.
So I'm in the middle of trying to find the right route to him.
I think that would be cool. Tech 9 would be really, because that would be like a real underground deep cut. Like,
well, and the way it's set up now, like in this day and age, like anyone I send it to is just going to record it on their end and send me back their part.
Yeah.
And that's it, and we'll get it mixed in on our end.
Yeah.
But I'm also offering any artist that wants to do this with me, not only will we pay for the feature, but we're willing to do a simultaneous release where you can release it on your own platform.
Yeah.
On under your stuff, and then we can as well.
I think if you got somebody like C-level, they would almost require that.
Right. And I'm good with it. That's what I want.
Yeah.
Because a lot of like rappers do features with other rappers, but how many are getting them with bands?
Yeah.
And I think y'all like this song. Anyone that gets on, it's going to be like, whoa, okay.
So that was the first name that popped in my head because he's like underground, but he's kind of.
But he's also kind of a feature whore.
Yeah.
You know.
But you know, it's one of those things.
I'll find someone. Though. Yeah, we'll get. But that's the level I'm talking about. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah.
And if you're listening to this somehow, Tech 9, definitely reach out to me. I'm not excluding you. I'm not saying I don't like you, but you're on a lot of stuff.
Yes, this is true. I couldn't believe it took me that long to figure out who the hell I was thinking of.
Right. And
it's like back when I was in college, going through like community college, I listened to all his stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it was just like, oh, hey, what's up? You know?
Aesop Rock just released a couple new tracks this year.
Nice.
Dude, both tracks are so good.
Nice.
Like the full album be out here in like a couple weeks, I believe.
Yeah. That whole crew that they roll with, like ASAP Ferg, you know, like all them guys.
Yeah.
Damn. Like they got some.
I was starting to say before, a little known fact about me, guys. Even though I'm a drummer in a hard rock band and I'm a like hardcore like music kind of lover and stuff, love me some hip hop.
Yep.
Love me hip hop. I'm more on that 90s stuff, but you know, anyone that releases new stuff, I'm willing to give it a listen.
Yeah.
Like as long as it's got the good vibes and good lyrics. I don't like bad lyrics.
Yeah. There's this dude that I've been listening to, Dax. He's I haven't quite figured out like how well known he is.
Yeah.
Because he last year I was like trying to just get myself in the mood for Christmas and all that shit, and I ran across a song that he did called "The Grinch," and basically it was like a whole song's a story about the Grinch. You know, you get it. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. You know,
he did a Christmas rap.
Yeah, he did a Christmas rap.
That's cool. Nobody does that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I was listening to it, and it was really cool. And then I want to say probably 9 months later, he just kind of randomly started popping up into my Instagram feed and my social media feed, and he's got some good music. I'm just trying to figure out like what's he doing, like you know, just because they pop up in my feed doesn't mean that like they're current. Like I've noticed that too. So we'll see.
Yeah, same here. Certain stuff will pop up and I'm like, oh, let me check this out. I'm like, oh, this is actually a few years old.
Yeah.
So,
and I hate doing that. Like it's like, oh, this is a brand new song. Nope. It's been out for 10 years. Fuck.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, I know. And with what we do, it's all about what's new.
Yeah. which, you know, that's the cool part is, and like I was talking to you a little bit earlier about this, is with the radio show, and I think we're on to something there. It's just trying to run 3 shows right now is like brutal.
Right. And you know, even though we would like to transition into doing it full time and making a living off this, we don't.
And I mean, I think there's, because I know when we first started, did you get picked up on a...
I had a go-head in my cuff of my pants. It was like scratching my leg up, like, what's going on over here?
Yeah, I saw you playing with it. I'm like, oh, is that a goat head we found?
My pants, ladies and gentlemen, in case you were wondering.
Yeah. And I think there's definitely a route to go there, but then you're talking a whole different ball game, because then in the price point jumps up to host the music.
Yeah.
And then you've also got to make sure that you're putting in new music. I
mean, the bottom line is too, we both have become accustomed to a certain level of like life, and living, and the cost of living is very high. So we would need to make sure it supports at least me and you. Replaces what we're currently making or better. Yeah, and that's a big jump.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, like, it's a hard transition to make, and I'd love to get it, like, even if we got it to a point where it was drawing in a couple thousand and I could hire somebody to be like, hey, you're fresh out of college, you want a job just being my assistant, like, and I don't mean assistant in a negative, like, oh, you're going to do everything I tell you, you're going to do all my bitch work. You know, I mean, like, hey, I need somebody that can be a social media
assistant executive producer.
Yeah,
yeah.
I need somebody that can do social media. I need somebody that can edit. I need somebody that can video edit, podcast edit. I need somebody
a little bit
that
of sound, like
a little bit of sound, graphic, like just whatever I need you to do at that moment.
Right.
I need you to be at least competent in that market.
Right. It's multimedia based, and you just got to be able to know what you're doing.
And it's one of those deals where if we ever got to that point, that would be such a huge help, because this past weekend, we'd been talking about doing like a live version of one of the radio shows, or a live version of like something.
Which we could. It's just logistics and stuff, really.
And I attempted it this weekend. I have a video of it somewhere. It's a really rough video. The audio's really rough because I tried to feed. I was having issues getting the PA system. Like, they had where we were going to do it, they already had a PA system set up. And I was like, well, I'm not going to put my PA system up in front of yours.
Then it looks stupid.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. So he was like, well, you can just use my PA system. I was like, well, do you have like a line out or something that I can just, and even he's like, yeah, but you're not going to get individual channels. And I'm like, that's fine. Like, I don't care. Just
at least it's a full mix.
Yeah, it's at least usable audio, and it's not going to be complete trash. And he's like, yeah, you can run a line straight out of my, straight out of the monitor and into your interface. And I was like, okay, fair enough. Yeah. And so he was like, you'll use the third or the 3/4 and just run it into your interface. I'm like, okay, cool. I can do it. Boom, boom, boom. I don't get nothing. There's no feed coming out. And I'm like, all right, is it because do I need to be running Phantom? Am I not running Phantom? Does Phantom not work with this? Or is it because I'm running, and just like all these things are running through my head. And I'm like, crap, I don't know what to do. Because it's 9 o'clock in the morning. He's not up yet. Like, he just gotten done playing the night before. And so I was like, okay. And I saw that there was like a XLR out. And I was like, okay, let me try this. Plug in an XLR, run it. Still nothing. I'm like, fuck, okay. And I'm sitting there, and there's a few people sitting around. And they're like, you're fine. Don't worry about it. We're not tripping, any of that stuff.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. And I'm sitting there, and I'm looking. And I had one of my boom arms. I had one of the 990s. And I'm like, all right, I just want to get some kind of audio. So I took the boom arm, planted it on the closest table to us. Boom, put the mic up, XLR in, boom, audio, okay. Put it as close to us as I can in between us. And I'm like, I don't know what this is going to get. Yeah. But it'll be better than nothing.
Right.
I probably should have had put up the 2 pencil condensers I had, but.
Yeah. And then crisscrossed them.
Yeah. But at that time, I only had one boom arm, and I was just like, I want to get something,
Right.
And
you were on the fly.
Yeah. And had I went ahead and just set up my PA system, I'd have gotten the audio I wanted. Right. But I also like it wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Like, I knew what I was trying to accomplish. I just wanted to get something down. I wanted to get something on paper, on video.
Well, make it work.
Yeah.
You know,
because
get what you wanted, basically live and recorded.
And that was another thing Friday that was dragging me down was, like, I was thinking about this thing that I was going to try and do Saturday that I hadn't really fully planned out.
Right.
Because I was
hoping to get a test run with you because I know exactly what you want and how to do it. And if I had been there, I could have solved it.
Yeah. And so the thing was, I hadn't gotten the musician. I had gotten one of the musicians I wanted. I was wanting two because I wanted it to be like a little bit more casual. Like, hey, he's going to play some music. We're going to chat and we're going to bring somebody up and it's going to be like this fun dynamic.
Yeah.
But the guy I wanted, have you heard of a guy by the name of Casper Allen? I
don't know. Honestly, he sounds familiar, but I can't say.
He's kind of like he had a nice little jump of fame, like in the Texas scene, I guess, but then he became a heroin addict.
The country
singer-songwriter, country.
I'm not heavy following that stuff, so probably
he kind of falls into like the Jelly Roll type. Yeah, are you familiar with who Jelly? Yeah, he's kind of in that vein of stuff. He's kind of got that same aesthetic, like gangster country, I guess is kind of what they're saying. But he had a nice little run of fame, and he got really well known in the Texas scene. And then he fell into like hardcore drug use and alcoholism and all this shit. And he got into a bit of trouble, and he fell off. And just over like the last year and a half, he had a kid, and he was like, fuck, I got to get my life together. Yeah. And music's what makes me...
Sucks that that's what it takes sometimes, but sometimes that's what it takes.
Yeah. And so I really wanted to have him on to have a conversation with him.
Well, yeah, the turnaround is interesting.
Yeah. But he didn't get back to me. Luckily, I got him on the podcast later, but I wanted him on the radio show because everybody was telling me how interesting of a character he is as a human. And I was like, man, that would just be perfect for this. It would be like the really good musician, Kevin Wayne Johnson. You know, he's just a solid musician. He's got some interesting stories. And then I bring him up with Casper Allen, who's just a character and a half.
Yeah.
And it's like, it'd be an interesting mix. But he never got back to me because he was going through some shit, like at a gig.
It happens.
So, and then I ran into him later. But anyways, so that whole thing was just struggle city from the get-go. But we got there. We got it on tape. I'll have to show it to you here after we wrap up this podcast. And
we should probably do soon. An hour.
Yeah, we're doing all right though.
We're getting there.
So other than like obviously we've talked about In a Jam a whole bunch, and we've lightly discussed the current situation that you're going through as GDP, and I'm trying to keep Live and Amplified out of it, but I also want to make it known what side of the fence we fall on.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, it's no mystery that one of the former members of GDP is also a former member of Live and Amplified, and I say former because the falling out and leaving was bad enough where just definitely don't want to work together anymore.
Yeah, and it's just one of those situations where it's like I said, it doesn't fucking matter anymore. Yeah. Like he was never fully invested in anything that we did.
Right. And it was the same way with the band. Like, so he never wrote or created a single song. He wrote the intro to one song, and other than that, he created filler. Yeah. And that's basically all he ever provided for Live and Amplified.
Yeah. And, I'm grateful for the time that he did help, times that he did help us.
A bunch of cross-country trips out of it.
Yeah. And I'm grateful for it, but it's also that proof that money is the root of...
Yep.
Like, I mean, it seems like a very cliche...
Like, not to go too deep into it, and I won't name any names, but all this started because I gave a piece of advice about someone taking a bad gig. Yeah. Honestly. That's what started the entire thing, because I was like, oh, that's a bad gig. And the fact that he already knew, the former member of my band and Live and Amplified, he already knew that the promoter and the people that they're dealing with are shady and didn't warn his band about taking a gig there. It's just lazy, and that was the thing. He was just becoming so lazy. He joined too many bands, and he's a lazy person, and it become more than he can handle.
Yeah, pretty
and
much.
Our band was probably like the one that took the most work. Yeah. And not that we were gigging the most or anything like that, but we were like putting the most into what we did.
Yeah.
All the other bands around here are basically phoning it in, especially the cover band he's in.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like the shows we put on, dude.
Yeah.
You know?
And I mean, that's pretty much all we're going to say on that topic, just because it doesn't deserve any more of our airtime.
Yeah.
And it
well,
is.
And I'll say this, you know, because I'm not sure who's listening and who's not, but it's awfully funny how many bands like had no shot at getting on. And I'll just say, because I'm not going to name any names, not even venues.
Yeah.
Right? But it's funny how many bands weren't even close to getting booked
Gigs.
on the big stage.
Yeah.
Okay? And there's only one big stage in Roswell.
Yep.
I don't have to tell you. And they weren't even close to it. And we brought them up on that stage.
Yeah.
Okay? Think about it. How many of you played your first show on the big stage because of us?
Yeah.
A bunch of you, right?
Yeah.
And now you're basically all turning your backs on us and acting like we're the assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're the bad guys that brought everyone up to that stage.
Yeah.
You know, early on, we were the only ones playing that stage, and we were getting a lot of hate for that. So what did we do? We're like, oh, no, we're going to bring our friends up.
Yeah.
We started getting our own shows there, and we started bringing our friends up, and a lot of you had some fantastic first shows there, you know, and we helped you get there.
Yeah.
And now you're going to turn your back and act like we're the bad guys. Yeah. Well, so be it.
Fuck it.
Yeah, I don't care. But you know what? It's not going to discourage me from helping people out still.
Yeah. 100%.
And we've discussed that as a band. Like, just because, a couple of locals used us to get there, and then once they got there, they acted like they deserve this and don't need us.
Yeah.
And don't want to work with us. Okay.
Fine.
That's fine. Sure. I don't care. We were just trying to help you.
Yeah.
You know, just like when I give advice about bad gigs, and when I openly talked about, and I openly called out the promoter.
Yeah.
On like one of the threads and was like, why don't you pay your bands better?
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about, guys. I've always stood up for this entire music scene as a whole. Okay? I've gotten pays increased in this town. I've gotten contracts to be a little bit more serious in this town.
Yep.
I have advocated for everyone as a whole. And I've always fucking advocated for bringing my friends up and bringing the other bands up and giving other bands a chance at the bigger stage and bigger audiences and stuff. And I'm going to continue to do that. I mean, maybe not for you guys that got what you wanted and now you won't talk to us, but
that's fine. Let it be.
Yeah. But I'm still going to do that for the other up and comers because that's who I am.
Yeah.
I am who I say I am, and I've always been this way.
Yeah.
All right? Not to sound like Popeye, but I am's what I am's.
I literally thought you were about to break out an Eminem verse on that one.
No. To me, it was like, felt like Popeye saying that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to continue doing what I do. Lift up the scene as a whole and get everyone paid. Even if you don't like me and don't want to talk to me, I'm going to make sure you're getting paid fairly.
Yeah. And I'm going to kind of pump the brakes on that one because it literally does not.
Had to go.
But speaking of the big stage, every time this weekend that I mentioned, like, oh, especially Saturday.
Yeah.
Everybody was asking me, oh, when are you leaving tomorrow? I was like, well, I got an 8-hour drive out to Roswell. Oh, Roswell, Alien City, right? And I'm like, yeah. Is there any good venues out there? And I was like, there's 2 quality venues.
Yep, there's a couple good ones.
Like, and it's more of what kind of ambiance you want. Like, if you want a little bit bigger show, you go to this place.
Right, but you got to be able to at least pull a crowd.
Yeah, you got to be able to pull a crowd. But if you want like a little bit more of subdued, like acoustic set, the same owner that owns this place owns another place, and they can put on a good show.
Well, and always mention the brewery too, because if they're below like that level, and just coming up and need a gig in the area at least to get their name out, the brewery is a good one because the brewery always has like a good turnout on weekends, just because they have good beer. Yeah,
and I tend to forget about the brewery just because I don't know how many people would be keen on the idea of playing on a skate ramp.
No, they moved that back, so now you kind of play in front of it.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So it's cool. If you're a full band, you can set the drums up on the skate ramp, and it's like a drum riser. Nobody's going to skate during the show. Yeah. But no, if you're just like an acoustic or whatever, and you can actually play inside during the winter. Yeah. If you're acoustic, they got a little stage in there. Can't do full bands in there.
I mean, you can.
We used to.
Yeah.
When they first opened.
Yeah.
Yeah. GDP played in there.
Yeah. Well, was that those situations where you had to play like a stripped back drum set? Like you had to cut your drum set way down to play there?
No, I never do that.
No?
No.
Okay.
My songs depend on my drums, like having every one of, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I thought
specific.
I thought wasn't there a show where you had to strip your drum set back?
I've had a couple. We had a couple like that early on, but then I kind of put my foot down and I won't do that anymore. Because it changes everything, and I don't like it.
I thought, was it when you played for when you opened for Red Jumpsuit or Saliva?
Oh no, I played full sets for all those.
Well, there was one show specifically where you were worried about you didn't want to have a bigger drum set than the featured act.
Oh, I got over that.
Okay, fair enough.
I got over that.
Okay.
I'm like, whatever, man.
Okay, because I distinctly remember that conversation being had.
Well, because I learned quickly that my drum kit's bigger than most major touring bands.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know, like all the big name bands I've opened for, like none of them have a big drum kit, really.
Yeah, well,
my kit's always bigger.
They've got and I get going on a big tour like that, having a smaller set. You know, it's like, fuck, you got to carry this thing
and
every
the big drum kit thing is not as common anymore.
Yeah.
You know, everyone's kind of using a 4 or
5 piece.
No, like 3 and 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, 4 pieces become the norm with just like a couple cymbals.
Uh-huh.
So it's cool.
I mean, that's kind of like
whatever you need to make your music, man.
A 4 piece is like a standard, right? If there was like a standard drum kit, a 4 piece.
4 pieces like an older standard. Yeah. 5 pieces like a rock standard. Okay. I play a 6 piece, which is just 1 piece bigger.
Yeah, because what do you have on your 6 piece? Snare, bass.
Well, I got 4 toms because I have 2 floor toms, 2 rack toms, and a snare.
Okay.
And a kick.
Yeah.
Those are the pieces that count. I have like a lot of cymbals, but those don't count. Yeah. Even though that takes way more work.
Right. Fair enough. So other than that, how's everything else been going?
Not bad. Not bad. Work's going good. Family and the house are going good.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's always fun.
You know, just life.
Yeah. It's an interesting time. It's like the last time we talked, we were talking a lot about, you know, just kind of fears and moving forward. And I think we had like a really good conversation there. And this weekend was definitely, it hurt that you weren't there. Just because
I know. I wish I could have been.
And not that there's any like hard feelings or anything. It just kind of hurt, and it was like, dang. But then again, it would have been very reminiscent of old school Live and Amplified because yes. Did I send you a photo where
I'm getting like a lot more PTO now and stuff because I'm crushing it in my professional life.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it was very reminiscent of old school Live and Amplified, like what we used to do when I was living out here and when we were coming back and forth from Florida and all that shit. But this festival took care of me and would have taken care of us. Right. Like they made sure I at least had breakfast every morning. Like they put me up in a cabin. It was a dry cabin. Like the only complaint I have about the whole weekend, and it's not even a complaint because this is like first world problem type shit. They put me in a cabin and it was a dry cabin. So there was no plumbing. Oh. So I had to go out to the bathhouse to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, the outhouse.
Yeah, I had to go to an outhouse or the bathhouse to go to the bathroom, take showers, which I'm fine with. But when you
wake
up...
Did you get a chance to take a shower with someone at least?
No. No.
Bummer. That's what I love about them little hippie festivals. Like, hey, who wants to save water? Right. No, just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm married. I don't do that.
But no, the showers there were really nice, and like they took care of the place. It was just like when you wake up at 4 a.m. and you got to take a piss, and it's like I know. So I'm in the middle of the campgrounds. There's a lady, like an older lady sitting on or living on the left side of me, and then there's another lady living on the right side of me, and they're both active at night, and I'm like, I gotta piss. Can I just piss off the deck, or and I ultimately that's kind of what I ended up doing most nights, but just that internal monologue.
You get caught whipping it out, and it's like, oh man, now there's that.
Yeah, and so there's that internal monologue of like, I got to go to the bathroom. So where do I go? Do I go all the way up to the bathhouse? Do I, Right. That was my only complaint all weekend.
Yeah, I hear you.
But like the fact, I mean,
man, I wish I was there just a wingman for you.
Yeah.
I'm the ultimate wingman because I'm married and I'm not interested in messing around. But I always want to get my friends some. Yeah. I'm like, hey.
Honestly, that wasn't... Like, had I pushed a little bit harder, I could have. Like, I could have easily pulled it off. Like, had I just been like...
hey, man, I need help. I can't reach my back.
Yeah. I could have... Come on, I could have literally gotten at least one person back. Like, it wouldn't have been hard.
Right.
But, when I'm there for Live and Amplified, that's just not what's on my mind.
Right.
It's like,
no, I hear you. Plus, it adds extra work.
Yeah, right. And then
end up being more tired.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things where it's like, fuck this. I'm not like, it wasn't a main thing. Like, it wasn't a main focus of mine. But there was definitely a couple times where it's like,
probably good.
All I have to say, hey, is I'm gonna get out of here. And it would have been gone. Like, it would have happened.
Yeah.
But anyways. So we'll go ahead and wrap it there. I think we've kind of gone as far as we want to go.
Yeah, I went on a couple rants.
Yeah, well, I went on a big long one, and so. Yeah. But I'm really excited about all the podcasts we got this weekend.
Hell yeah!
There's definitely some.
Can't wait to hear.
Yeah, there's one I think you might enjoy. There's one that got way off the rails. They were talking about.
Definitely send me the link so I can.
The trifecta of conspiracy theories.
Yeah, I want to hear that.
So
I'm a big conspiracy guy.
Yeah, I have to go back and listen to it, but anyways. Yeah. So yeah, that's gonna be it for us here today at the Sunday Sit Down. I'm your host.
Hopefully, if you guys took the time to listen to this whole thing, first of all, I'd like to say sorry. No, just kidding.
I think people really enjoy this. Like, this hasn't been our best performing podcast, like version of the podcast, but it did good numbers. So,
cool. People want to hear what I have to say. Cool.
I think it's one of those things where it just kind of comes down to marketing and how we market the whole thing. So
because we stay very professional and stay away from a lot of subjects on our actual main media.
Yeah,
because we don't want any kind of negativity or drama or anything attached to that.
Yeah.
But this is a good chance for us to just blow off some steam.
Yeah.
Things that were like annoy us, things we love. All the different things about the industry that just we don't want to talk about in our main media.
Yeah, and I just one side note here really quick. I'm really loving the fact that these mics aren't picking up this AC because this thing is blowing.
Oh yeah, no, these things have a great little cone on them.
This AC is blowing right up my back and it feels fucking amazing right now.
Nice.
So, anyways, once again, thank you all so much for hanging out with us. If you want to check out Live and Amplified, all our socials are live, the letter N Amplified, or you can email me email us at LNAMusicReview@gmail.com. I took down our website. I don't know if I told you that one.
Yeah, you did.
I ended up having to take down the website because $70 a month was getting to be a tough pill to swallow.
And speaking of websites, I'll be amiss if I don't at least I won't plug my stuff on our other media, but I'm easily, just so y'all know, Gross Domestic People, or GDP Roswell. You can search either one of those on any platform there is, and find us. We got music. Sure. We got lots of stuff. We're pretty cool. Hang out with us.
That was our Sunday Sit Down for this week, and intro the cool Mafia music.